I'm your boyfriend, George Stroumboulopoulos. Listen, lovely to be with you, everybody. Can I just say this? It's going to be a bit of a complicated conversation on the program tonight. And maybe some of the complicated parts of this conversation are going to trigger complicated parts of your conversation. I know I come on TV and I go, I'm your boyfriend, George, and some of you go, no, you're not. And I know that I'm not, even though that we know that we are. But I do genuinely care about you. And a big part of caring about you is being honest with you. So, tonight I'm going to talk to somebody, a woman called Emily. Emily wrote a book about when her husband worked in the porn industry. Not as a star of the porn industry, not even as a participant in the porn industry, but a man who filmed stuff connected to pornography. And yeah, well, you can just imagine what that conversation is like between a married couple, right? You're gonna do what for a living? If you are currently having a tough time with your partner, and this is not the kind of conversation you want to have, don't watch the show tonight. Don't watch the show. I want you to watch the show, so sneak into your room and put on the other television, okay? All right, so before we go anywhere, even though we already have gone down the rabbit hole of pornography, a quick high five to our friend Seamus O'Regan. Seamus was just appointed Distinguished Visiting Innovator at Ryerson, which is better than just Distinguished Visitor, which sounds like loiterer. No, he is an innovator, which is a very cool thing in the digital media zone, so well done to Seamus O'Regan. What a great thing. Which is actually a really good thing for him, too, because it might break his habit. All he generally does is tweet GIFs of cats. Quick shout-out to Eugenie Bouchard. How about one for Jeannie as well, right? Even though... Listen, there are lots of reasons why she may not have won that match, but I think it has to do with practice time. And it's not that Jeannie didn't put in more time. It's just that Jeannie had to sign a lot of autographs, right? Eugenie Bouchard. Her competitor, she had 4 letters in 2 names. She was finished and practicing all the way. And Haley Wickenheiser, Winter Olympian, Summer Olympian, all-around Olympic badass flag bearer at Sochi. We're gonna have Haley in the red chair next week. This is the Jamaican Olympic flag bearer, everybody. Let's deal with the day. All right, obviously, we are super excited about the Sochi Games 2014, just 14 days and, 30-odd minutes away. But here on home ice, it's been more than a month since our glorious leaders have met in an even more competitive arena. Well, get ready, because coming this Monday, Canada's favorite blood sport is back.
CBC brings you coverage of the most exciting event in the history of competitive sport. Hundreds of competitors will vie for the glory. That's right, January 27th. Parliament resumes in Ottawa. Release the doves.
Monday, Jan 27, Parliament returns. All of our... That animation you just saw that was longer than the actual story is going to be. Our officials will get back to squabbling and yelling at each other. I can't wait. Listen, here's the thing. Prime Minister Harper must have a Calgary Stampede horseshoe hidden somewhere, because every time he gets into a position where scandals are uncovered, Rob Ford drinks a bucket of booze and iPhones find him. Incredible. I recommend you read this article that Chantal, great Chantal Hébert, wrote for The Star about politics. Quebec, very interesting right now. We're big fans of around her, not just because of her whip-smart journalism, not to mention the ad-issue panel on the National, and not just because her and Peter Mansbridge have the hardest-hitting garage band duo in the business. They're incredible. They're called the Newswipes. Their 3rd album, dude, it's called The Hardest Pundit to Pundit, is absolutely killer. But her piece is called Stars Aligning for Marois to Call a Snap Election. Basically, do not be super surprised if in Quebec there's an election right away, which could give the PQ a majority, and their support is shooting up, largely driven by support for the proposed Charter of Values, which would ban the wearing of conspicuous religious symbols and face coverings, dealing with state services and, court, things like that. The new polls show that 60% of Quebecers, 60%, that's a pass. Well, in my life, it was 50 plus 1, but 60% and 69% of Francophones want the Charter. That's the strange thing about majorities. Sometimes they are right and sometimes they are not. Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, the former PM, I asked him about the Charter of Values.
Charter is not for the protection of the majority. it is for the protection of the minority. You know, in politics, your responsibility is not to go only with gallop. You know, you have to, they talk about the tyranny of the majority in a society. You cannot go that way. You have to look at all the aspects of the problems and make the right decision for the good of the nation.
All right, Prime Minister John Chrétien, you're going to see that full interview in the red chair very soon. I don't know if you've noticed this, by the way, kind of cold. Not like, it's winter time, of course it's cold. No, like, it's cold. It's cold. It's so cold in the Great Lakes region, there's more ice cover than we've had in 20 years. 20 years since we saw that much ice. 20 years, the Blue Jays were still defending champs. 20 years ago, you weren't Googling Great Lakes ice, you were Ask Jeevesing. Back then, Full House was a popular television show and not just a running gag. To give you an idea, this is from the first polar vortex we had. Incredible, right? Looks like the unintentionally hilarious outtakes from the day after tomorrow. Apparently, this is what anywhere from half to 3/4 of the Great Lakes surface looks like now, and it could get way worse. It's very serious. There are major channels all through the region. Most are iced over until March. You know who's only liking this one? People with Instagram accounts. That are the only people. Imagine if we actually had tasty, tempting seals in the Great Lakes, though. Imagine that. Suddenly, people in Toronto on their way to Starbucks would be, oh, polar bears. Polar bears everywhere. Justin Bieber was in the news today. DUIs are very serious, but that's a cute mugshot. It's time to play Who Said It, Rob Ford or Justin Bieber. All right. I'm going to read you a quote, and you got to see who said it, right? The current mayor or the future mayor? It is. Have I had some fun times over the weekend? Yes, I have. Everyone has. Who said it? Rob Ford. Rob Ford. Hold on. Here's another one. Quote, I don't bull. I am a straight up guy. Who said it? Justin. You'd think, right? It's the mayor, Rob Ford. Right? How about this one? There's a lot of people who are waiting for me just to mess up. If you said Justin Bieber, you are correct. Who said this? Driving that train high on cocaine? Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. That was the Grateful Dead. It was the Grateful Dead. That's your debrief, everybody.